Hi, I'm going to give you my 3 best tips for how to stay in a calorie deficit. My name is Isla Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of the Millennial Nutritionist, where I have helped over 200 people lose weight, feel better, and make sure that they can do it in a very sustainable way. The first step of our program is actually to start with a calorie deficit, and I go over this in our free calorie tracking tutorial. I also talk about at the end on how you can kind of calculate your own calories. I do recommend working with a registered dietitian for this because it takes a little bit of judgment to know what the best deficit is, but you can try to do it on your own with just the tracking that you have available to you, which I honestly think is way better than any calculator that you can use online. But what is a calorie deficit? A calorie deficit means eating less calories than your body takes to maintain its current weight. Now, this is not eating below your BMR. That can get you in a really tricky situation, which is what a lot of people who are doing it on their own think that they need to be doing. There's BMR and then there is RMR. RMR or TDEE is what you need to maintain your current body weight when you are moving around in a normal walking person. BMR is what you need to maintain your body weight if you are unconscious and you're not moving and you're not eating and you need the bare minimum just to keep your organs running, and we are doing way more than that. So just to preface, that is what a calorie deficit is. Your calorie deficit can change depending on how active you are and your body size. Somebody who is a bigger size is going to take more calories to maintain. Whether you're taller, you have more body fat, you have more muscle mass, you're going to take more calories than somebody who is at a lower body weight. If you are struggling to lose weight on a restrictive diet, it's not your fault, and you don't even have to do it like that. Any restrictive diet is going to cause you to kind of overeat because you feel so hungry. Not only is it not realistic in today's world when we're constantly inundated with tons of food ads and yummy drinks from Starbucks, but it's also just not needed for when you're losing weight. You don't have to be in such a severe deficit that you should feel like you're starving or you feel like you are gonna give up at any moment or you can't even go to pizza night. That's not how it has to be. You can be within a conservative calorie deficit, which is really like honestly anywhere from like 300 to 500 calories below that resting rate, which for most of my clients I'll just say is anywhere around like 1,600 to even 2,000 calories. And this is gonna help you to feel like you can stick with it a lot more. But not just with calories. There are a lot of ways to help yourself lose weight by staying in the calorie deficit instead of just deciding between the larger piece of cake or the smaller piece of cake. You can kind of use some tips that I'm going to share with you to help you stay full, help you feel like you are better able to manage your calorie deficit. So let's get into it. Number 1 tip is to try to eat more produce. I feel like I fit this tip in every single video, but it's just because produce is such an underrated food group that we forget to add in when we're losing weight, because honestly, nobody's really making money off of it. Eating more produce is so healthy for you, but even beyond just health, you are gonna have a better chance of staying within your calorie deficit if you're eating more food and staying full. It's gonna be really hard for you to stay within a calorie deficit when you're constantly thinking about food, you feel deprived, and you're really hungry. Well, eating more fruits and vegetables is the hack to this. You can eat more volume of food through produce and feel full while eating less calories. So about 1 cup of produce is going to be about like 30-ish calories as long as they're like non-starchy produce. And then 1 cup of fruit is typically going to be around like 80 to 100 calories. And you can compare this with like a cup of pasta, which is going to be around like 200 calories, or 2 slices of bread, which is going to be around 250 calories. So if you have to pick between one or the other, produce is going to be your best bet for being low calorie. You definitely need those other foods, but that's why it's good to fill up on fruits and vegetables as opposed to grains or tons of protein or tons of cheese or milk, stuff like that. Produce is going to, again, just give you a much bigger amount of food for less amount of calories, so you feel full. My tip for you is try to eat them first. So when I work with clients who really struggle with getting in produce, one big thing is just trying to prioritize them. So we think about protein when we're losing weight, which I also recommend, but we also need to be thinking about produce. And for a lot of people, produce is not the most tasty food on the plate. I think that it is really tasty, but it can take a while to get there and figure out how to prepare them so that you actually like the taste. So in the meantime, try to capitalize on the hunger that you do have and lead it with your meal. Try to treat yourself like a little kid. Start your meal off with a little salad, start your meal off with some fruit, or even end your meal if you want to with some fruit. But for my clients that don't always love the taste of produce or struggle getting it in, even just because they're too full to eat produce, starting your meal with the produce first is going to help you to ensure that you get it in. My second tip for you is stay hydrated. I don't typically have a lot of problems with my clients staying hydrated, but when I do, and we increase what they're drinking, then they do so much better with staying within a calorie deficit. When you're dehydrated, your body gets confused between hunger and thirst, and it's just going to kind of turn on everything it can to get you to get something in your body in hopes that you are going to get some hydration from it. And so you can work with your body and these cues that it's going to give you by just making sure you drink enough water throughout the day. One study suggested that people who drink 1 cup of water with each meal ate about 20% less calories. Because when you think about it, your body's not dehydrated, but you also just have more volume in your stomach. There's a lot of different cues that you get to be full when you're eating, and one is just sheer volume of what's in your stomach. So if you're filling it with water, then you're less likely to overeat. And this is something I'm super guilty of. I'm a bad drinker when it comes to eating when drinking. I don't love to do it, but when I start my day, at least I find with a bunch of water in the morning, then I'm less likely to overeat breakfast, and then that just helps me the whole rest of the day feel a lot better. One tip for making sure that you drink enough water throughout the day is to have it with you. I always try to have a cup on my desk, but if you struggle with this, try to have something, try to prepare a cup of water in the morning. I normally have a cup that's ready to go with me at the gym, and then also throughout the day on my desk, and then also trying to switch over to maybe a different fun drink at the end of the day, like a seltzer or a kombucha or something like that. But for other clients, they forget to fill up when they get home and get those last 2 to 3 cups in, which are super important. When we have structure, we're more likely to drink water because we have a cue to remember to drink it. But then when a lot of my clients get home, they don't have any structure. They forget about everything because they're trying to relax. And then this means they also forget about their water. So just bring it with you in the living room, bring it with you in the bedroom, try to drink that last bottle of water, and that'll help you stay hydrated through the night. It'll make a huge difference in the morning, and it'll just keep you in a good cycle. The last reason you need to stay hydrated is because it's going to give you a lot of energy. When your body is dehydrated, your heart is having to work harder to pump the blood volume throughout your body. Your blood volume is very important for a multitude of different reasons, but your heart can try to compensate for the lack of fluid in your blood by just kind of creating more on its own, but this causes you to be really tired. And so if you feel really tired throughout the day, one thing that I ask my clients is their hydration, because this can help a lot. And as soon as clients start drinking more water, they can feel it right away. They just feel better. Your skin is going to be really nice and clear and moisturized. Your hair will be better, and then you'll feel a lot better. When you have more energy, you're more likely to do that extra 20 to 30 minute strength training session, to go on that hour-long walk that you need to do, to make your meal, to prep your produce. If you're so tired that you can't even get up past 7 p.m. in the evening, you're not able to do all of these things. So do yourself a favor, get some free energy by some liquid hydration, aka water, and that'll help you a lot when it comes to meeting your calorie deficit. My third tip for you is to plan. This is also one that doesn't get talked too much about because it's not super marketable, I guess, unless it's a planner company or something like that. But when I look at my successful clients, they are huge planners. Now, in the beginning, they just don't know what to plan, or maybe they need some help from me to actually help them learn how to plan. But there's many different ways that you can plan for your weight loss, and I actually go over this in our Millennial Living content for this month, which is our membership platform. And even if you're watching this beyond August 2022, we are going to have that content up there for a while. But overview of why planning is really important for weight loss. You can say you're going to eat all the produce, you can say you're going to eat all the protein in the world, but if you don't have enough stocked, if you haven't packed it for yourself for the day, then that doesn't really help at all, especially on weekends. If we don't have a plan on the weekends, I find that clients get super frazzled and then they don't know what to do, and then they end up just like giving up and overeating. So try to plan in some way, shape, or form, whether if it's on the weekends and you are planning in the morning to how you're going to get in your produce, or you're making a plan before you go to the grocery store to look at what you're going to eat for the week, or even planning your exercise, which is a huge one for my clients. I had a client who really struggled with eating a lot of calories before 12 p.m. She was already eating like 75% of her calories by lunchtime, and then she really struggled from when she got home to dinner time because she didn't have a lot of calories or macros left, and she was really hungry. And so what we did is had her start planning out what she was eating in the morning so that she would know that she can't eat breakfast and also a ham and cheese sandwich as a snack in between breakfast and lunch, and also have a super sugary Starbucks drink. She can have all those things, but she's going to have to pick what she wants to take out to make those foods work. By planning, she was able to look at what her tracker kind of said that she had left for the day. In the morning, she would wake up and plan out her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, go ahead and put it in her tracker, understand that she should try to go for a lower calorie but high volume breakfast, then try to go for more of like a sugar-free drink from Starbucks so she had more calories to devote to that snack that she really liked, swapping the ham and cheese sandwich out for some produce and some like dip. I think sometimes she was doing like apple and peanut butter or like carrots and ranch, and this was a lot less calories. It still was high volume, and she would not have been successful with this if she didn't just look at her tracker and try to plan out. Sometimes it's really overwhelming if you're just trying to go throughout the day, you don't have any plan, and then you're really frustrated because you can never figure out how to make it work. You really have to get on top of it, plan what you're going to eat for the day in the beginning, and then go from there. And this really only needs to be in the beginning. I don't think we need to overly plan for the rest of our lives, because in the beginning, everything is new and we have to ensure that we're actually going to follow through with these habits. Once they become solidified habits, then you don't really need to plan as much. And I see it in clients all the time. We eventually transition out of tracking in my program, but in order to get there, you've got to consistently track and plan for about 2.5 months. So you know every time you eat, you're going to add in certain foods. But again, before you get there, it's just important to try to plan in the beginning, and we can help you in our Millennial Living membership theme this month. These are my top 3 tips for staying within a calorie deficit. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you need any more support on your weight loss journey, make sure to check out our one-to-one coaching program. Make sure to subscribe to this channel because we're putting out videos every week, and we are releasing our podcasts on video format through YouTube as well. Bye.